Okay, again, welcome gentlemen to the CIF Coaches and Officials Meeting 2018, hosted by SOCALOA. Again, I'm Sean Conley, the president of the organization. We're going to go through today, we're going to show you the new rules and points of emphasis for 2018. We're going to talk about communication, get some feedback from you, and then talk about how we can work together to grow the sport. All right, so real quickly, points of emphasis for this year. One would be shots at the end of the period. It's just like basketball now. As long as he shoots it before the buzzer goes out, it'll count as a goal if it's released before the horn. Also, let's see, slow whistles. In this case, the big difference is now when you have a slow whistle, meaning the flag is down, we're waiting to whistle it until the play ends. The players can go in and out of the box on a man or a flag down situation, which, as you guys have already been doing, found that it's really great. Especially at the youth level, my gosh, I hate it when the teams lose the ball because of that little technicality. And then face-offs, we want to make sure that we're going for the ball. We've been talking with the face-off guys. Oh, were they talking? Did the referees talk to the face-off guys before the game? Not really.
Yes.
They should ask. Yes and no. Okay. In doing that, I found like way better return on the game and less fouls when the referees do that. So we'll make sure we'll put that on our list of things to send out as to have the conference. One of the things we go over is the first move has to be towards the ball. There's definitely not going to take the cross right to his wrists, and they're definitely not going to do the other one that's not as obvious that it's really dangerous, but is the pitchforking, whereas the kid misses and then he just goes right on the elbow and lifts up like that. That was a huge point of emphasis as well at the college level, is that we don't want kids just jamming and lifting up their arm very dangerously on that elbow. Okay. Next, mouthpieces, make sure it's worn properly. It seemed like it was pretty good at the end of last season, and all of a sudden summer happened and they forgot that it's not a chew toy. Yeah. Like, there's one thing where it's like kind of out a little bit, like in the front and it's still connected. It's another thing if it's completely like, I saw a kid like literally chewing the corner of it up in his mouth like that. You know what I'm talking about? There's kids that do it and it's like I don't know, it's like an oral habit, or it's like trying to get them to quit smoking or something. Like they can't put it back in their mouth.
Yeah. Is there a rule on it being like a clear or white? Because I've heard some people said you can't have clear or white.
Yeah, you can't. That's exactly that. You can't have clear or white because you can't. It's hard to tell if it's in.
Okay, so
and it's white because it looks like teeth.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Well, maybe not these kids, but some kids are supposed to be white. And then the new cross specifications, which I'll go over in just a second. Here's the rules video. I sent this link out to you. Hope you're able to watch it beforehand. We're not going to watch it right now for the sake of time. But it is. We'll send you a link to this presentation. It was also in the email before. You can watch it on YouTube. Here's the list of all the rules. As you can see, there's quite a few. I'm going to go through them real quickly. A lot of them are just kind of like, that's a rule. I thought we always did that, and that's kind of the thing. Is it was something that was mechanic-wise was true, but it wasn't necessarily in the rule book written correctly. So that's what you're going to see in just a second. Unified field. Oh, by the way, who's using unified field? Newport Harbor, Corona, or Santiago. And then anyone else using unified field that you know of? Maybe it's not yours, or we'll find out. I think San Clemente might. He asked me about it. So here's the regular field. It's 110 yards is the distance. Now the change for boys when you go to the unified field, the big difference is this right here, is that they move the crease back 5 yards, which I think is where the girls' crease is, right?
Correct.
Because if you look at this one, it's 20 yards here and 20 yards to the goal, so that's a total of 40 yards. And then on this one, it's 20 plus 25, so it'd be 45 instead of 40. So they move the crease back for the boys. And how they counter that is they move the field to 120 yards.
So the box is bigger. The box is much bigger.
Yeah. And the field, the box is a little bit bigger, and the crease is moved back to the boys. It's where the girls, I think, isn't the girls' crease 5 yards high?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's where now we have.
It's on the 5 yard line. If you got a football field, it's on the 5 yard line.
Okay.
And you're using the back of the end zone as your line.
I like that way much better. I hate it when you have to go through places like, I think actually Torsoro is one of them, where it's like through the words and you can't like, this sucks. I can't tell. So I think that'll be good in that case. And then you gotta deal with the circle thing, but that's fine. It was already on there anyway. And then the arc, which again doesn't affect. I don't know why they didn't do this a long time ago. Here's the new cross specifications. You may have noticed the referees have this card right here. I have some for right here if you want to buy them. They're $50 each.
Wow.
Just kidding. This is a card that they when the college referees started doing this a couple years ago with the stick specifications. This is what it is. This is 3 inches. This red line is 3 inches and then 3 1/4, and it lines up to where you put it in a stick to where it's 3, 3, and 3, or 3 1/2. Sorry, not 3 1/4. Okay, and so that's to make sure that you don't have too narrow a stick, basically. And what I've been seeing a lot is a lot of kids you gotta check your kids' sticks on these, because a lot of them get pinched right here, especially the bend points, the face-off sticks. Okay, so make sure they're putting their softball in there like all the time, to make sure that it's the 3, 3, and then 3 1/2 at these measurements, which is what, 1 1/4, 3 and 5. Easiest thing to do is just have one of these.
Sean, front of the stick or back of the stick, or both?
Just the thing.
Because you'll see just the front, because sometimes the back will be pinched.
Yeah, they tried to experiment with that and it didn't go very well. So
So we have softballs and sales for $25.
yeah, $25 each for the softballs, exactly.
But that says
Um,
front and back.
Yeah, any questions on that one? The rules, these ones?
You just said not the back, but that says front and back.
Well, one's the minimum front, one's the minimum back.
Okay, I don't see a whole lot that go in besides that, but we measure with the card, you should be able to get both of those, but in front and back. Okay, I've never measured the back, so that's a good point though. I don't know how they expect us to do that. Anyway,
Please don't.
we're just gonna put the card in the
Please don't.
Okay. And what's the penalty for that? Yeah, well, yeah. The stick is expelled for the rest of the game. It's 3 minutes. Yeah, everything's 3 minutes except for deep pocket. That's the only thing that's 1. Okay. And then these other ones that look like jock straps on the on the stick head. These are legal. In case you're wondering, they made a specific thing in the rule book for it. Also, beginning in 2022, the home team will be required to wear white jerseys, and the away team will be required to wear non-white jerseys. Okay, so all you like teams that are just yellow and wearing them for both, you'll have to conform to the white and non-white color. Let's see, there's an example for you in case you didn't know. This is something that we started last year, and it shouldn't be that. Make sure that we're doing top to stop on the face-offs. Okay, so the top of the stick with the throat. Make sure the throat right there, right the ball stop to the end, and the ball stop to the end. So that's 10 inches, and then the ball would be 5 inches from there, so it's right in the middle. Okay, and then the difference this year would be a contrasting color between the head and the top glove must be visible. This can be accomplished with the original shaft color, paint, a single wrap of tape, or other materials. So here's some examples of, he's a face-off person, so he can't have any tape on there. Okay, that's got an X. And then this one, the shaft and the head are the same color. Okay, sometimes you get that black on black. But then also it's got a contrast with the gloves. So you can't have like a white shaft, a black head, and then white gloves. Okay, so that's why, again, we have it for sale. Some pink tape, $100 an inch. Make sure you have that in your coach's bag, a contrasting color like pink or green or whatever. You want to embarrass the, whatever. Like make sure that he does his own 6 inches of tape, single wrap. This one is okay because they're contrasting. The only time it wouldn't be okay is if they got white gloves on this one.
The easiest way to remember is just 3 colors. 3 different colors. That's the easiest way.
Sure, I agree. And this is the same, just reversed. Okay, any problems or issues with this one? Okay, let's keep going. goal, as long as repeat, a shot is released before the end of the period, it counts. We talked about that one. That means you have to have the horn, a working horn. You're supposed to have a horn. If you don't have one, it's a legal procedure at the beginning of the game.
By the way, I was hoping John Fox was going to be here because we had a really close one at his field under the old rules last year, and I was going to love to tell him, hey, John, guess what? It would have counted this year, buddy. But he was so mad last year. It was very close.
No defensive player other than the properly equipped goalie can enter the crease with the perceived intent on blocking a shot or acting as a goalkeeper. Okay, that's whether they're shooting the ball or not. So the old put the defender in there. Now, what they changed for this year was instead of, because we brought this up, I think, at the meeting last year, was what if it's a different play? You know, it used to say the player on the team does it again, then he gets an unsportsmanlike. But it wasn't clear, like, well, what if we just rotate the guys in there, giving the penalty, take one for the team each time, and when does it become unsportsmanlike? Well, then it's basically the first guy. It says now the team will be enforced as releasable unsportsmanlike penalty served by the defending player. Okay, so you have a kid go in, we automatically kill the game, throw the flag, put him in the box for conduct foul, and then the next time his team does it again, then that person who goes in there is going to get unsportsmanlike, whether that kid realizes it or not. Okay, so that was I think we brought that up last year, right? We were like, this doesn't make any sense. So they fixed it, just like they're going to fix warding this year. We'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, here it is. First team violation, and by the way, it's a releasable unsportsmanlike penalty for that one. It's one of those rare cases where it's non-releasable, or it's a releasable unsportsmanlike penalty, which doesn't count towards, actually doesn't count towards ejection. Only the non-releasable ones do. Which is the CIF rule of 2. Failure to wear required mouthpiece, no mouthpiece, no fish hook. There's a nice fish hook right there. Try to do that early on so that we can get them in the habit of doing that. Please, tell your players to do that, scold them, and if you want us to still throw the flag and then use that as a teaching moment, we'd be happy to do that as well. Last one, stall warning remains in effect until, okay, this wasn't clear before. So your team, you can get it. First of all, there is stalling. I had a coach say this the other night. There's no stalling in high school. And I was like, I can't believe this. Yes, there is. And then I got the sarcastic, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And yes, I do, actually. But anyway, so yeah, there is stalling. So what do? They say get it in. And then once they get in, they have to keep it in. And before, it wasn't clear when to end that. Now they made it pretty clear. A goal is scored. Okay, that ends it. A shot hits the goal pipes. A shot hits the goalie or hits his equipment, a stick. The defensive team gains possession of the ball. That was kind of obvious. Or the period ends, resulting in a face-off. Okay, so after the team's been warned, stalling shall be called if the ball leaves the goal area in any manner. Okay, so they got to get it and keep it in. They go in, they shoot, they hit the goalie, the post, whatever. Then they'll say stall is off. So this is like the fair catch thing.
Man up situation, team has possession going into the second half. They've already been called for stalling. Did they start it off in the box or keep it outside the box?
That's the resulting face-off one. Thanks.
Well, but it won't be a face-off in the second one because they have possession.
Right. So it would be off if the penalty ran out and it was going to normally be a face-off. Then it would be off. But in this case, what you're talking about,
like 20 seconds left.
You're talking about like your team has the ball and they call for, or they
get the quarter ends.
The quarter ends, and they still have possession
yeah. inside
the box. Then the stall warning is still on.
Got it. So
it continues over. That makes sense, right? The play continues. They should still be. They were stalling before. It's not like they're not going to stall again.
But it will be a reset of 10 seconds. Get it and keep it in.
That's what I was looking for. Right. So can you
So you will get basically a free 10 seconds of do whatever you want
because you can't start inside the box.
You can't start inside the box. Not the offensive team.
Right. No. But yeah. But if you're man down, then it's
as soon as the next play period starts, ball will be outside the box. Blow the whistle. Get it in. They have 10 seconds to get it in.
Yeah, because if you're man down, you want to keep it outside the box until you get it back.
So question. So you guys are keeping the time on that, right? You got
It's not a 30-second shot clock like in college. It's just get it and keep it in.
So it's just stay in the box, okay?
They just have to stay in the box. And
I got you.
before, it seemed like it wasn't very clear when it was ended,
Okay.
other than a goal.
So you can go as long as you want in the box.
Inside the box, yes.
Inside the box, as long as- okay.
That's the high school, yeah. Okay. This one's just something you already knew, but it wasn't written right in the rule book, so they fixed it. Anytime you have was it a penalty, right? Anytime there's a penalty and the ball's inside the box, let's say you're attacking and slash, the ball starts outside laterally. It wasn't clear in the book before, that's something we always did, and then this is what,
Well, there would be times where maybe we'd let the kids take it more at the top corner as opposed to in the alley. This year, the officials should be quite strict on it must be in the alley exactly,
laterally.
lateral. We're not gonna let you put it up to the top of the box. So if a referee is saying that ball's gonna start, center X or something,
Somewhere
that's wrong. That needs to be in the alley. And,
on the side.
yeah.
Right.
So I know in the past, it just lax for no reason other than, hey, the ball's there, everyone's ready to go. We're gonna blow the whistle. This year, in the alley, exactly lateral. That's what the rules are.
Okay, and then the big change would be,
Hmm.
we call it goodie on the official end. This is the things that ends a slow whistle. The ball hits the ground or it scores a goal, the ball goes out of bounds, and it used to be out of the box, that's the one we took out. So now you can go in and out of the box as long as you have possession.
So all right, so on this one, so you can't bounce pass. As soon as the ball is bounce pass, that's classified as.
Now, a shot that bounces is still a
You can
shot.
shoot a bounce shot, you can't do a bounce pass. Right, they'll get there. You notice that the college rules are seeping down into the high school.
So here, well, here,
That's what
clear this up too. You have a play where maybe it's a shot, right? It's a shot that has hit the ground.
Yeah.
And you have a player behind the goal, and now he catches it. So then I'm just curious, what do you think should happen? Because
Play on. It's a shot. It's a play on. It's a shot.
Now, once the shot misses, then it's over. So like,
But even though we got it out of bounds.
Now,
you shoot it high and he catches it somehow,
Still
then
on.
yeah, or it bounces off the post. Actually, no. In high school, if it bounces off the post of the goalie, that kills your free play.
the shot would be
In high
considered
school.
over at that point.
Okay.
Tim, we're saying that right, yeah? We're all on the same page, because we debated this a little bit in our session. Yep.
Okay. Any others on this one? In a period scrimmage? Okay. And this was whistle, final two. So the official shall withhold the whistle until the second defensive foul is committed during the final 2 minutes of regulation play of the team that is ahead possessing the ball, unless the scoring play is imminent. Okay, so what was the difference on this one?
The issue is that we used to kill this automatically, even if there was a scoring play that was imminent. So this used to be an automatic whistle on the second flag under 2 minutes. Defensive team commits the second flag during the first flag slow whistle play on. So now we kill it. We used to kill it automatically. Now, if you're about to score, we're gonna let it finish. Even in all fairness, even at risk of potentially having a third flag for a late hit or a foul in the shooter, we're gonna.
So you get a chance for a 2-point play.
Yeah,
So-
sure. And one possession.
Exactly, yeah.
There you go.
Alright. So what this was, I think it was 2 years ago, there
Yeah,
was,
this rule's only been in.
when you had to, well, we started with, if the team is, you don't have to keep it in the box now, if you have 5 goals or more lead. Okay, the other thing, the rule that came before that was, once the team is, it's the final 2 minutes of play, and what happens when a team, usually it's because they're losing by a lot, and they're frustrated, they'll come and they'll just start whacking the guy with the ball. Okay, and you've got one foul, you've got another foul, you're throwing flags, you're throwing your hat, and then the game ends. And meanwhile this kid got beat up, and we could have done something to stop it. So in this one, it's kind of like box lacrosse. Once the second foul occurs, you kill play. Okay, that's in the final 2 minutes. Now, what they added this year was, okay, we're gonna do that, but if the guy is going to score, we're gonna let him have the chance to score.
Because the issue is that this is independent of whether or not you have the automatic stall with the 4 or 5 goal differential. The issue is that you could actually, benefit from scoring the goal that then puts you into the fact that you will no longer be in the automatic stall because you've now gone over the threshold for the number of goals. That's the reason why they put this in, is so that then you can still score, and now your stall will be off because now you're up by so many goals. That's why they freed this up to allow you to score even after the second flag.
Okay.
Because it's not if you're winning and you commit 2 fouls, the game is going to keep going. It's only when the losing team, right? It's only the losing team, or is it either team?
Which one?
It's automatic stall, and then when the.
No, what I'm saying is it's the 2 fouls on. It's under 2 minutes. 2 fouls on either. Is it the losing team or either team?
The team behind.
Yeah, it's the team behind. So that's why that makes sense.
Okay, let's see. This other one was a shot remains a shot until it's obvious that a goal will not be scored. They changed it to offensive player behind the goal catches a missed shot, shot deflects off an offensive player and into the goal. I don't remember what else we talked about this one, other than it's a shot. Okay, and then this is more for us, but after a goal is scored, you don't go like this. I guess guys were doing that. We never taught it, but you say goal is good. There's white push, waved off by the goal. Goal is good. I guess some people were doing this. So what does that look like? The goal is good.
No goal.
No, yeah, exactly. And then goal is good. So we can't decide, I guess. It's now just waving the flag, which is something we did. Goal is good. There was a push. I guess we can say that. There was a push. The push is wiped off by the goal. Okay, that's all the rules for changes for this year. Before we get into awarding real quick, you can also, under uslacrosse.org, they got a lot of these online courses. I don't know if you've taken any of them. I highly recommend looking at those. They're all free. You can just go onto your account, learning.uslacrosse.org, sign in with your US Lacrosse account and get all these things. We use a lot of them for us, but they also have specific ones for coaches. Also stuff you can give to your assistant coaches or your programs that you're developing. These are great resources that we highly recommend on just everything from coaching to rules to player development.
They've got safety stuff, sportsmanship, concussion. I mean, they got heat and hydration. They got a million things.
Okay, so season already started last week, and then on Thursday, they sent out this memo, 3/1/18. I don't remember why, but anyway, what a memo is well, you know what a memo is, but in the officiating world, if we get a memo, that's basically like, we can't change the rule book now, but this is how this needs to be called. And in the college level, we get this a lot. This is the first high school one I've seen in a long, long time. So apparently, remember, they're running on East Coast time, so they still haven't started their youth seasons yet. So this is not a big deal to them. Obviously, we started on Saturday, and on Thursday, this thing comes. So we're just going to take it as we go. It's a good thing we had this meeting late this year because we wouldn't be able to go over this. Okay, so awarding, I'll just read through it. One, award is not to be called on a player with 2 hands on his cross. Okay. A bull dodge, lowering the shoulder, could be considered unnecessary roughness if the official judges the contact was excessive or unnecessary. Okay, not a big change. A spear should be penalized with a minimum of 2 minutes non-releasable, which is lowering the helmet to the other player's helmet or body as a spear. Potential for ejection as with any check involving the head or neck if excessive or severe. Okay, if the body contact is judged as legal, the offensive player shall not be called for award. The contact is either legal or it is unnecessary roughness. Okay, we kind of had 3 options before, right? It was what? Illegal body check. Let's go with the extreme. Illegal body check or unnecessary roughness. And then we had this, like, for almost the same call, warding. Right? Not a whole lot of difference. Okay, now it's not warding if he has, obviously if he has his hand on the stick and does something like that, that's warning. But if he has both hands on the stick and he does the what is it, Miles Jones thing, where like just gets right in there on that shoulder, powers on through, then that's either nothing, or it's unnecessary roughness if it's considered unnecessarily rough.
This puts us in a bad spot because when I was talking to you guys outside and I said, look, I think there's some sophistication to some officiating where I'm going to take that borderline, late high hit, and if I can do it under the right circumstances, I'm just going to call it interference. This is the exact opposite now because I can't give you a award for something that's borderline, unnecessary roughness. That's the problem here, is that it really removes my ability to find a middle ground. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think it can be distinguished because some guys will lead with their head, some guys will lead with their shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a distinction there. If a guy's coming through like a running back heading through the line with his head down, if his head's looking at the grass, then I would say,
That actually makes
But
it
if his
clear.
head's up and his shoulder's leaning into the guy, then
And I think we're gonna try and do a good job since this memo just came out. We didn't get to instruct on this. We didn't get to have a dialogue as a group in any session. This will be a part of the email blast. I mean, I know we sent this out, but we also haven't really given any detail as to how we're trying to coach the officials on how to look at it. So,
his head position.
Yeah.
How he's got his head.
but I mean,
Not position, it's contact. Mark,
What's that?
if he makes contact with the shoulder and the helmet, then it's no longer.
That's my point. But if he's leading with his head,
He hits him with it.
well, yeah, because you've seen guys come in there like a bull and just try to.
But usually it's a Jim Brown move with the shoulder into him, it's always been a war.
That's right. That's what we're talking about.
and I'm gonna put Brian on the spot. Remember, I gave this call at a game against one of your kids, and I said, hey, that's an award. You're like, that is not the definition of award. I said, would you like me to throw the flag instead? And then you just said, thank you, Daniel, because you knew what I was trying to do. But you see what I'm saying? I can't.
You're disavowing all knowledge.
Yeah, but no, he gets it. We were able to find a middle ground. I know we have guys that do that. We just can't do it anymore, right? I mean, it's just so.
Okay.
Please understand, this may go against you. There could be a little collateral damage here where you're not used to seeing a kid penalized. You get put in the box for this. But we might see a little more of this.
So, but the term unnecessary, right? It's unnecessary. So, like, if you thought it was a word before, there is no middle ground. That's not a word. Unnecessary is unnecessary.
Right.
I don't really see much middle ground in the unnecessary. Like, unnecessary is unnecessary.
I'm just saying,
If
you
you
could-
lower the shoulder, it's the 200-pound kid pulling over the 110-pound kid. That's unnecessary.
You
The
just
rest
need-
is that's not.
Sure. So it's
I just want you to know we're now asking you to be okay with the official's judgment, and the problem is that in the gray area of this part, you will likely disagree with a couple of these when the official says, this is a flag for me.
right. And this is
That's all.
the nature of when this came out. All our training was done. We've already started the season, and now we've got to rely on them to read it, and then for all the referees to do it the same without having a whole lot of like training on it.
We're gonna
Okay,
do what we can to be consistent here. Just try and work with us and understand that there's gonna be a gray area where I think you're gonna have a couple disagreements if the official throws the flag or doesn't. Whether it's your kid that got hit or whether it's your kid that is being judged.
It's tilt of the head, I think, is everything.
Yeah, unless the head's dropping, I don't see how a ball carrier bull dodging is
Unnecessary.
unnecessary.
There,
Because, I mean, it could be argued he's protecting himself as a defender, unless he's dropping his head into him, it's
Yeah.
completely necessary.
And dropping the head also puts the bulldodger at risk
Yeah.
also.
Yes,
Right.
that makes sense. Going ahead, yeah, sure, that's spearing, that's clearly in the rules illegal. But if you're just running the ball and you put your shoulder in, I don't see how that could be considered unnecessary.
It could be unnecessary when you're up by 15 goals. And
Okay,
There could be an unnecessary situation, so let's not say never.
Right.
Could be up by 15
And
goals.
then Ryan brought up a good point of the really big kid and the really small kid. And that happens. You see him targeting the younger guys, whether he's a tackman, he's a big defender. Or the other kid's like, hey, this guy kind of my size, the middle-sized guy wants to hit him. That would be an obvious unnecessary, that wasn't okay. Like, why did he need to do that? It's one thing if it's a really close game and both teams are really good and both teams are equal athletes, about the same size, and he just had a good bull dodge. That's the part that we're gonna have some growing pains in that. So
That's a good way to put it. There's going to be growing pains because look, the other thing too, and we want to talk about one of the biggest differences between say what we do here and what goes on in San Diego. San Diego, you can just about truck anybody, and you're not going to get anything. But I can tell you that generally here, the feeling, and it's true, even in this room, the feeling has been we're not quite ready for what, as a group, we're not quite ready for that level across the entire board. Whether you're taking into account, top level programs, people who are just starting. I'm just saying we're a little behind where San Diego is at. And when we get San Diego teams that come up here, whether it's in a tournament for youth or whether it's high school, and we call something, they look at us like we have three heads when we're just saying, hey, player safety.
Right.
I'm just being honest. There is a discrepancy that we're going to have to try and close the gap.
and it's going to be different at the different levels, because we got to do this all the way from youth all the way up. And so, and I know you guys coach all those levels, so just remember what level you're at, and we're going to try and do our best to that didn't look right. It's kind of like what we're going at right now.
John, real quick, a lot of people seem to be concerned it's intended to produce unnecessary roughness calls. This is intended to eliminate that word call.
Look at it more as a positive, right?
It's gonna reduce calls, not increase calls.
Yeah,
This is not out there for us to call, telling us to call unnecessary roughness on it. It's telling us to get rid of that word call. That's
Right.
But like I said, there's going to be a little gap there where we may screw it up in the beginning while we're trying to hone guys in on what Tim just said, or we're trying to frame it positively as best we can. Guys may screw it up and go with the conservative safety thing. Just know that might be coming.
Okay, we're running low on time. That was our reminder. Okay, like I said before, they should be contacting you before the game. Please reply to their email when they send it.
So is that the home team who gets the email?
The home team gets the email. It's to confirm the game time, so we don't have the varsity showing up at the wrong time and the
Right, that's
JV.
good. Yeah.
And then, or the ref showing up at the wrong time, or the wrong field. Sometimes you have to change the field. It's not necessarily reflected on the arbor. Or you've got, you're going to use the back field, not the front field, that sort of stuff. Let's see, also we should get the certification card. Please use that. And then we talked about the first week, how it went. We'll take that feedback to the guys. A couple of things we got back to ask the officials, what do you guys want to tell the coaches about the first week? Just reminding, keep the box clear. That includes yourself, unless you're subbing, which you're not, so make sure you stay out of the box. Even when your team's on the other end, that doesn't mean you walk over to the table. You got to stay in your box area. Know when to dialogue with the official. Trying to get dialogue means back and forth. Yelling and complaining is one thing. That's your right. That's what you get paid to do. We get paid to hear it. Okay. But if you want an actual dialogue, know when it's appropriate. Probably not when they're transitioning, running the other way to go, do this on something that wasn't a severe safety violation or something that was egregious. Okay, if you don't like why it was called, or interference and why is it going the other way, then the appropriate time to be that would be in the next dead ball, or you can always make a little, instead of doing a running commentary, you can just make a little list on your little check on your board, and at halftime you can always talk to the coaches then the last 4 minutes. Also know your limits when communicating as far as what is appropriate. The best way to avoid unsportsmanlike conduct, I tell coaches, is think about how you're talking to the official, and if that official was you and you were the player, would you want your player to talk like you are right now to you? What would you do if the kid talked to you like that? Whether it's sarcastic, or it's derogatory, or it's just downright mean. What would you do if a kid was talking to you like that, your own player? Because you've had it. I know you've had kids talk like that. They give attitude whatever, that sort of thing. How just keep in mind, because that's something we tell the officials too. Remember how you talk. Remember how you come across. Would you want someone to talk to you that way? Okay, so just remember. I know we get excited. That's why we're out here, passionate about it. And sometimes our passion, our emotions get the best of us, but that's okay. That's why, as adults, we know when we know our limits, and we know when we've gone over them, and we apologize when we're wrong, and we just move on. And you know, if this is a perfect world, we all go drinking after the game. You know, like that sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, just know your limits and know that just the fact that you're arguing is technically against the is unsportsmanlike by the rule. Like questioning the judgment of an official is. Now, are you allowed to question their judgment? Are they wrong? Yes. Are you allowed to ask questions? Sure. Just do it in an appropriate manner. Okay? And then also don't forget you can provide feedback to us through our website. And lastly, I want to leave you with this little graphic. Helps me visualize how lacrosse works. I feel like it's more like this than any other sport, but I'm also very biased. In that it's, notice that we've got the parents, the coaches, and the officials, and we're all working together for the players. That's why we're there. Okay, we're making sure that the officials are making sure the game's fair, fun, and safe. The coaches are making sure the kids know how to play the game, that they're safe, and that they're having fun. And the parents are there to, you know, pay for the kid to go there and to have something to do. Okay, and also support their kid, and you know, we're out there to help them grow and develop young men. And that's what we're doing, and I know that's why a lot of you guys are out there. You know, being part of a team sports is a great opportunity for any kid, especially a high school kid, that needs some more direction in their life. Okay, and I'm glad that we provide that for them. You the most, the parents, and then you know, us a little bit. I like to tell people that I officiate because I like the opportunity to make sure that the kids are having fun, the game is fair, and that they're getting good leadership from other people, and that these kids have the opportunity, just like I did, to learn from other men and to learn how to be young men. And you can't get that just from going to school. And so for that, thank you for what you do. We appreciate it. It provides us some fun on the weekends, for us to get our lacrosse kick out of it, get paid a little bit, and to exercise and have fun. And so we wouldn't be able to do that without you guys and without the parents, and most importantly, without those players. We don't have players. We have no one to coach, no one to parent, and you know, no one to officiate. So we're all working together. And that concludes our presentation for this. We'll stay for any questions. We need to get out of here, but we'll wait right out here. And thanks for coming, guys.
In the feedback section, can you talk a little bit about moving screens? Because there's been a lot of differences of opinion on a moving pick that I've seen in games thus far this year and also over the summer.
Like, what is a moving screen?
Yes, exactly. Whether the guy has to make contact with the defender, doesn't make contact with the defender, impedes progress, doesn't impede progress. It just seems to be a point of contention.
By rule, he has to make contact with him, because otherwise they're just crossing. Right. And then the other thing is he has to be fully stationary, and then he can't be wider than he is. So his frame. So this is okay, and then this is not okay. This is not okay. This is still not okay. Or they hold the stick out and they clip the stick.
I think the point is I've seen a lot of refs call moving pick when the kid does not make contact with the defender.
So he's moving.
That's
pretty rare. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll take that back.
Okay.
And then the other thing is when I do coaches training, one of the things is I remind them that you need to go over and practice, have pick drills. They have plenty on US Lacrosse. It makes that part of your practice at some point during the week. Go over it and how to set proper picks, because the biggest problem with that is the kid that sets the pick thinks he's the most important person in the play. He's not. He's the tree in the school play. He doesn't have any lines. He just stands there. Right? So all you have, literally, you just have to stand there and wear the costume you're on. Like, that's all you do. But the other kid, you got to teach that other kid to take his defender the opposite way he wants to go and then cut across the pick. And so really the person you should be yelling at is the guy who did the terrible pick, used the pick wrong. And that's the person that you need to correct. The other kid's like, all you gotta do is stand there. But you should have been going the other way and then cut across like we did in practice. And then that way that kid doesn't have that pressure, because what happened? The kid's like, this is the only thing I can do. I don't have good stick skill, but I can set picks. And he runs over, and then the guy's not set the pick for running it right. And what does he want to do? He wants to move over because he wants to do his part. Okay, so that's a great opportunity to recognize in those kids, like, this is how we do it, guys, this is a good example, this is not a good example, it's gonna get called, and even if you disagree, like, it's like, look, you can't set your pick right in front of the guy, you gotta set the pick and let the guy come to you. The more you try and run closer to the guy, the more it's gonna look like you're moving, whether you were or not. Okay, any other questions?
Last concern, when you guys are scheduling, I think all the coaches would probably think it was prudent that an official not officiate his alumni.
Yeah.
His alma mater.
Have we had that?
Yes, we have,
This season?
last year,
Right, yeah,
Last year.
we addressed that.
Oh, yes, okay. So
modern
yeah,
day games.
if we know about it, yeah, no,
And modern day, strong, devoted modern day alum.
no, look, if we know about it, we avoid it. If an official doesn't tell us, that is their responsibility. That guy didn't get playoff games. I mean, yeah, so that there was a penalty for that, by the way. Sorry, I thought you were talking about this year. I'm like, no
Oh,
way,
no,
we've had it in a week.
No,
We addressed it. We found out about it. It was taken care of.
okay.
Yeah, there's private schools.
That we have a conflict of interest policy. I mean, there's a whole thing. So the fact that wasn't, once the official saw that he was on that game, it was his responsibility to communicate